Hi guys. Yesterday we had spoken about the import tariffs which USA has placed on India. I don't have a lot of insights regarding the world of finance. Today I have a dear friend of mine, Dr. Raghav, who is a surgical oncologist, but he has a lot of knowledge about the world of finance. Today let's go into his world of finance and understand how these import tariffs are going to affect India and what can India do. Hi Raghav, how are you?
Hi James, fine.
So let's go straight into the topic, Raghav. Raghav, what is actually happening? What is this import tariff? Can you explain to us in simple terms that's what USA has done to India now?
So to come to import tariffs, so basically the term says that every country will import a lot of things which are required for its own population. So country they will have a own taxation system on what is coming inside and what is going outside. So the amount of tax what a country will impose on goods which are coming into the country will depend on a lot of factors. So it will basically consider two important factors. So what is the domestic production in that country and what is the requirement of the population. For example, in a country like India, if I give an example, so we produce a lot of food grains and all. So if we have a lower import duty on importing the food grains, so the local farmers, etc., will not get their price scale what is required to sell their goods. So in some cases like the food grains, etc., the import tariffs are high to support the local manufacturers or the local producers like farmers. And some examples like things which are not available in India, which are widely used, for example, say crude oil and other things which the country has to import, so the government will have a lower import duty on these items so that the domestic prices are within the reach of the general population. So it is a balance on how a country imposes import tariffs. So on different items, we have different import tariffs. This has been a regular practice. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you are saying it is a balance between in such a way that India maintains a balance such that India's domestic production is not affected. At the same time, we get the goods which we have more demand and it is less of produce in India. Correct?
Yes. So the country balances between both supporting its manufacturing process as well as seeing at the same time his consumers. So the consumer should have an affordable price to buy that good. At the same time, they should give an affordable price to the manufacturers and the product producers also. So it should be a balance.
So what is happening now, Raghav? I need to understand this. Why this 25% and why now?
So as you know, the Trump has his own slogan which is called MAGA, Make America Great Again.
Yes.
And he also quotes saying that tariff is his most beautiful word in the dictionary. So
Hmm.
if you understand the entire scenario, his game of tariffs has just begun, saying or paying a victim card, saying that US has been suffering a lot of these days because US, if you see, it is more of a consumer based where manufacturing is less in their country and most of the things are imported.
Okay.
Most of the manufacturing hubs in this world, if you see, are from the Southeast Asians. For example, China, which
Hmm.
is the one of the best manufacturing country, which is now the position is being altered by few other South Asian countries. For example, like India, which is quite coming up in manufacturing space and exporting a lot of things. So the Trump has been playing a victim card, saying that US has been importing a lot of goods and paying a very high taxes, but at the same time, the countries which are importing US goods are importing at a very low tax. And though the Americans are paying a lot more than what they're using. So this
Okay.
is the card victim card what Trump has been playing. But this should be taken with a pinch of salt. For example, if you see, is not just about the economic game which the Trump has been playing. It has been linked to many other social factors and economic political factors also. It
Okay.
is just, if you see, it is a game of dominance.
Okay.
But you have to agree that America is the most powerful economy in the entire world. It tries to dominate or rule over the rest of the economies, and not just by playing a tariff game, but using it as a weapon. If you
Let me
see
interrupt
clearly
you
what
here,
is
Raghav.
happening.
I need another
Yes.
question in this. So, with all this, what happened to the Indian markets when these tariffs were announced? Because my doubt is, ever since April, Trump has given us this August 1 as deadline. So, we should have been ready,
Yes.
right? Why was the market affected so much when these tariff announcements came? Can you give us more insights into that?
Yeah. So when these tariffs were introduced all over the world, not only in India or in different parts, so there was a knee-jerk reaction of the markets. There was a consensus about all the experts saying that this will lead to a negative trend in the markets. There will be again a economic slowdown and all these factors. So if you see in April, there is a 2025 market crisis or the market down where markets all over the world have reacted by 10%. That is one of the major factors. So that was the first time when the world has started reacting towards its tariffs. So once the world has started, if you see the response of different countries, many of the countries like Japan and other smaller countries which cannot sustain in front of the US, their leaders have immediately gone to Trump and even they have fallen at their feet. It is such a kind of condition where Trump indirectly has got a lot of control over the smaller countries. Few important economies, for example, like China, have reverted back. They have opposed the tariffs. So there was a tariff war where each one of us them of imposing tariff just going up to 150% at one point of time. Once the Trump has recognized that yes, now he is started threatening the entire world economy and the entire world is affair, then he again imposed a moratorium of around a few months, saying that these tariffs will again be effective after a few months, and he has basically got all these countries to start negotiating him. And it is one kind of a threatening warfare, I feel, to bring the smaller countries, smaller economies towards himself and have a control on themselves. If you ask me the other side of the coin, it is not just about the tariffs or the American economy.
Hmm.
So Trump has a concept of MAGA, that is Make America Great Again.
Hmm.
But what I feel is his concept is not just making America. He wants only America to be great again
Hmm.
at the expense of the economies of all over the world. He doesn't allow any other country to grow. For
Hmm.
example, he is unhappy with many of the developing countries like the BRICS nations, etc.,
Hmm.
just because they are planning a different currency of for a worldwide usage apart from the dollar.
Hmm.
They are planning a economic bank and many other reforms
Okay.
which are out of USA. So
Hmm.
Trump is not liking all of this.
Okay.
So his attempt is not just his American economy. He's playing a card of American economy, but his main aim is to stop all these practices and indirectly threatening countries. For example, if you see what he has done, is one of the main reasons of threatening India is to come out of the BRICS, which our country is resisting.
Yes.
So this is his main agenda, I feel, and he is using it as a weapon rather than just improving the American economy.
So, what are the industries you think, Raghav, will be most affected because of this?
If you see country like India, we have to see the exports.
Okay.
So the total exports to US, if you see there, that forms around 2.2 or 2% of the entire Indian GDP. So if you see in absolute terms, it is not a very big percentage.
Okay.
So India for a long time has been a hub for manufacturing in some other items like example textiles. So
Yeah.
textiles, if you know, that is one of the have been done in India for many decades to centuries. So it is one of the most important industry which is going to be affected, as well as the gems and the diamonds
Yes.
industry.
Hmm.
And recently, if you see, last 5 years we have this incentive scheme for electronics. So most
Yes.
of the electronic manufacturers like Apple have established their industries in India,
Yes.
and now this if, might affect even them.
Okay.
But if you see the overall economy, the effect of Trump tariffs may be in the same of 25 to 30 basis points. If in a local language, if you see there is if our GDP growth rate, what we see is around 6.25%, which is the estimated thing for this year, it will be falling down as per the international organizations up to about 0.25 to 0.3%, up to 6%. So it is not a major downfall or something like that which will destroy our
Hmm.
economy, but definitely there will be some amount of effect.
The thing is, this rule for giving this tariff, Trump says that it is because of the trade deficit of 45 billion. But if we read between the lines,
Yes.
it is indirectly telling India not to buy oil from Russia. What is your take on this?
Yes. So if you see, I already told you, rather than just thinking about his own economy, he
Hmm.
wants people to listen to him. In this way, I'm literally as an Indian, I'm very proud how my country is reacting to his decision.
Hmm.
So you see his August 1st deadline. So he knew that India is not reacting to it, is not agreeing to the demands. There were
Hmm.
multiple rounds of discussion. So initially on August 31st, on July 31st, he has made the statement that there will be around 25% of the tariffs, which is one of the highest percentages
Yeah.
when compared to other nations like in Britain and Europe, which has, he has given for 10 to 15%. But in India, he has told it as in 25%, even
Yes.
by calling Modi as a friend.
Yes.
So thing he has thought is there will be a knee-jerk reaction with India. Indians will react. Indian government will react. There will be a lot of discussions. People will be flying to US requesting them to stop this and all. But that didn't happen. It was a
Okay.
silent thing.
Okay.
Nobody reacted much. If you see the stock markets, there was no reaction in the stock markets. So everybody now is believing that Trump he changes his decisions so frequently and is not serious about the decisions.
Yes.
So this next statement, what he has made, he started again using the political agenda. If
Hmm.
you see now, the next day he started having a French with Pakistan, saying that I want to explore oil with Pakistan and India will buy oil. This all these statements are to just ignite the Indians,
Hmm.
just to say because people are, we are not reacting. So
Yes.
we know we have reacted with a stone heart towards his statements, not in a reactionary way.
Okay.
So he is not liking them. He wants us to respond. We are not responding. The
Okay.
third day again, he made comments saying that Russia and Indian economics are weak.
Yes.
So these statements are
Actually,
just
the
there.
word he used was Indian economy is dead. That was the word he actually.
Yes. So all these are to ignite the population or just to provoke the governments to take measures or to come and to initiate talks. But Indians have not been doing that.
Sorry for interrupting. In your
Yeah.
opinion, Raghav, what can India do now? Should they go on the war front, like saying that we are going to give you another import tariffs from our side, or should we follow the diplomatic channel? What is your view on that?
So if you see to handle personality like Mr. Trump, we have to deal in a more peaceful manner. The
Okay.
thing you see how if you react in an aggressive manner like China, where
Hmm.
the tariff war has gone absurd up to
Hmm.
150%, where people
Okay.
don't know what to do, and it was a standstill in the entire economy.
Okay.
So one thing is we can have better negotiations where we can
Hmm.
come down on our prices, where USA people can come down and we can come down, have better deals.
Hmm.
As the second option, what as a country like India, because
Hmm.
it is being resilient on itself,
Hmm.
is we can initiate more trade channels. So we have that US trade, I told you, accounts about 2% of the GDP.
Hmm.
So instead of just US, we know we have free trade agreements with other countries
Hmm.
like Britain. So we
Hmm.
can increase the total amount of trade so that the trade with other countries increases
Hmm.
indirectly. What is getting imported to US, we can import to other countries. That
Hmm.
will balance our trade deficits and other parts of the economy. Our GDP will grow in some other manner.
Hmm.
And the third important thing, what a country like India can do is again start its own manufacturing. Over the years, we have been improving
Hmm.
various schemes, various industries. For example, I told you the incentive scheme,
Hmm.
where we have a lot of electronic industries like Samsung and Apple being set up, they have set up their assembly plants in India and
Yes.
increasing the production. And they're exporting all over the world from India. We have a lot of car makers who have come to India, a lot of other industries which have come to India.
Hmm.
So we have our own manufacturing and become self-dependent. Now we have a lot of defense manufacturing is happening in India. So most of the import-export deals we were talking was about this defense equipment, where Trump was not happy that we are buying the Russia. But one question you should know that when India needed the defense equipment few decades back, USA was not there in the position to help us.
Hmm.
So there's
Yes.
only one person who helped was Russia.
Yes.
So now he wants us to buy from him, not him. The
Hmm. That's
third,
one thing.
fourth, or one fourth aspect, yes, is what China has done.
Hmm.
When its exports have declined, there's a lot of stoppages piling up. So
Hmm.
it has subsidized and brought down the rates in local market.
Okay.
People started buying goods at a very low prices. So
Hmm.
even though exports have been affected, the local consumption has increased. So the industry to somehow sustain this. So
Hmm.
there are a lot of other measures which Indian government can take
Okay.
And it is not a dead end that if Trump has imposed 25% tariffs, it is a dead end to economy. Economy will come down. We are nowhere. It's
Hmm.
not like that. There are many alternatives
Hmm.
and better ways to deal with that. And it is surely the way India has reacted over the last few days to Trump tariffs is very interesting and is a slap to the Trump's administration in US.
Yes. So, Raghav, now comes the question of the day. Every investor is now in a precarious situation. Is this the right time to invest? And what stocks will you recommend investors to invest in such a time when the market is so volatile? Or should we wait for the Indian Washington talks to get over before we start reinvesting in the market? What is your take on that?
To answer your question, you are provoking me to say all these lines, but I am
I'm
not
not
in a
provoking
position
you. You are
to.
free to say what you want.
I'm not in a position, nor I'm a registered, a SEBI registered, or any person to answer your questions.
Okay.
So always it is in a better position you consult your own advisor, who is a registered financial
This is
advisor
just
with the
an
government
expert
agent.
opinion, Raghav. It's just your opinion.
Yes.
What will you
So,
think? If
but always, if you see the Indian economy as a,
yes,
if you ask as an individual investor, not having normal general experience and not a registered person,
yes,
so I feel Indian companies are always resilient. We are a growing economy.
yes,
Definitely, we have been increasing, so we can sustain on our own legs. So always
okay,
investment options are always open. Should always take some corrections in the market, like these geopolitical tensions. These are always not permanent. They usually occur in different sessions.
yes,
So you can invest and wait wisely. So I,
oh,
I always advise people to wait wisely for 3 to 5 years if they
mm,
somehow returns they have to get. So
okay,
if you are not a person who follows all these geopolitical tensions or manages
mm,
actively, then you can choose a mutual fund distributor or mutual fund advisor and
mm,
invest in those.
mm,
In long term, all these factors will not come to play. These are all smaller factors which affect your returns within 1 month or 6 months. But most of these returns over the period of 3 to 5 years will be averaged, and you will get your own returns.
okay,
So if you are an individual investor, then you can use these opportunities to invest in quality stocks
mm,
or Indian companies, for example, which are usually will not be affected, which don't have much exports,
mm,
who are dependent upon the local consumption.
mm.
So these will be benefiting in case of decreased exports from India because local consumption increases and local costs also will settle.
This is very insightful of you, Raghav. Thank you for giving your time. And I hope our viewers also have gained a good knowledge about these import tariffs. And please do join us in further episodes when you have time, Raghav. Thank you.